Hello friends, welcome to Padhai Se Dosti YouTube channel. In today's video session, we are going to discuss about the Indian historiography, various ideological framework. Okay, so this is chapter 2, that is a historiography, Indian traditions. In this particular chapter, we have already discussed about the ancient, medieval and modern historiography regarding the Indian history, and in today's video session we are going to discuss about the various ideological framework of this Indian historiography. So we have already discussed about different conceptual framework, how different conceptual framework they influence the historiography or the writing of history. So this ideology is again one of the concept or different ideologies, they form different conceptual framework of Indian historiography that we are going to discuss in today's video session. Let's discuss about the very first ideology, that is the colonial historiography. What do you mean by colonial? It is a era where different European power they established their colonies in different part of Asia and Africa. So that is a colonial period, and historiography about this colonial period, it is a colonial historiography. So let's move ahead. The early scholars who studied and wrote Indian history were mainly British officers and the Christian missionaries. So remember, earlier these people they started the writing about the Indian history. Their prejudice is clearly reflected in the way some of them have ridiculed Indian culture. Okay, so whatever prejudices they included in their writing, so they reflected the degradation of Indian history or Indian culture in their writing. Okay, their writing were used to justify the colonial British rule. So they used to explain, they used to elaborate how their colonial rule is good for this uncivilized people. Okay, they used to call Indians as a uncivilized barbaric people. So they try to justify their rule, that how this rule is boon for Indian people. Okay, the 5 volumes of Cambridge History of India, published during the 1922 to 1937 CE, are distinct example of colonial history. So Cambridge is one of the universities United Kingdom. So the scholars from this university they wrote the 5 volumes named as Cambridge History of India, published between this 1922 to 1937 CE, and it is an excellent example of colonial history and all the prejudices and limitations of this colonial influence on Indian history. Okay, so I hope you get a better idea of this colonial historiography. Let's move ahead. It is a Orientalist historiography. Many European scholars first felt curious about the civilization and countries of the East. What do you mean by these countries of the East? It is the countries of Eastern Hemisphere, like countries which are present in Asia and Africa. Okay, like India, then Tibet, China, or Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Indonesia. So all these countries they are the Oriental countries. Okay, or the countries of the East. The Oriental is the word to designate the countries which are located in the Eastern Hemisphere. Remember this thing. So now some of these scholars felt admiration and respect for them. Okay, there are some scholars who really respect the Orientalist civilization and the history of the Oriental countries. Okay, so they felt the admiration and the respect for that particular history and the culture of these countries. So these scholars known as Orientalists. So the scholars who have such a admiration and respect for Oriental culture, so they are known as Orientalists. The Orientalists studied the similarities between the Sanskrit and some of the European languages. They focused more on the Vedic tradition and Sanskrit literature. Remember this thing. Their studies resulted into formulating the notion of ancient language that could be the mother of all Indo-European languages. So when they study this Vedic tradition and Sanskrit literature, then they came to conclusion that this Sanskrit language it is a mother of the all Indo-European languages. So whatever Latin, Greek, French, so all these languages they are the subordinate to this Sanskrit language. Okay, or they have their root, their origin from this Sanskrit language, from the words of Sanskrit. So whatever words we are saying, they have Greek origin or the Latin origin, but that Greek and Latin language itself they have the origin in Sanskrit language. So remember, this is Sanskrit language, it is a very important to understand the history of India and the entire world. So that's why to study this particular language is very important in historiography. Okay, there are many Europeans who studied this Sanskrit language and they converted very ancient historical Indian text or the writings in their own regional language. Okay, so whatever treasure of India they used to convert in their own native language by studying the Sanskrit language. So remember this thing, there is a strong influence of Sanskrit in the world of historiography. In 1784, Sir William Jones founded Asiatic Society in Kolkata. It it opened the doors for research in ancient Indian literature and history. So remember the name of this person, Sir William Jones. In 1874, he established Asiatic Society in Kolkata. What is this Asiatic Society? It is a group of Orientalist people who want to study about the history and civilization of India and Eastern countries. Okay, so that is the Asiatic Society. Later, they established the Royal Asiatic Society in Mumbai also. In Chennai also, there is a branch of this Asiatic Society, and in different part of India, you will find different branches of Asiatic Society. But the main branch is it is in Kolkata. There is a very famous library known as Royal Asiatic Society Library located in Mumbai. If you have watched that Balkadu movie, the Marathi movie, um, you can able to observe this Royal Asiatic Society library in the last scene of that movie, when that particular hero of that movie, he stand on the top of that taxi and he address the people. He try to aware the people about the polity of our country. So the whatever monument you can able to observe on the background of that particular scene, that is the Royal Asiatic Society. It is a very uh, huge white color building, and it is a very, it has a very great treasure of Indian literature or the Indian history. So if you get opportunity to visit Mumbai, so do visit this Royal Asiatic Society library. It is a very good treasure of our history. Okay, among the Orientalist scholars, Frederick Max Muller, he deserves a special mention in this particular Oriental historiography. In his opinion, Sanskrit was the most ancient language of Indo-European languages. He was deeply interested in Sanskrit literature. He first translated Sanskrit text of Hitopadesh. Okay, he was a editor of 50 volumes of sacred books of East. Okay, he also compiled Rig Veda, which has been published in 6 volumes. He translated Rig Veda into German. So remember, so this Friedrich Max Muller, this is a person, Friedrich Max Muller. He is a German. He converted this Rig Veda into German. Okay, he translated it into German. Also, he edited 50 volumes of the sacred books of the East, and he also translated Sanskrit text known as Hitopadesh. So, if there is a short note, then you have to add all these facts in it. Okay, so this is the William Jones who established the Royal Asiatic Society. So remember all these facts and figures. Okay, so in this way we have covered over here the Orientalist and colonial historiography. But there is one again famous historian known as Edward Said. He is a scholar who has re-evaluated the Orientalist writing and thrown a light on imperialistic interest of such a Orientalist scholar. Okay, so all these Orientalist scholar, they have some interest, some imperialistic interest means what, उनकी जो साम्राज्यवादी सत्ता थी उसके फेवर में जो भी इंटरेस्ट है या जो भी उसके इंटरेस्ट में लिखा जाता था, वो इन लोगों ने उनके टेक्स्ट में ऐड किया था. So this Edward said he is a scholar who evaluated this Orientalist writing, and he threw a light on this imperialistic interest of such Orientalist scholars. So he aware the people that the history written by all these Orientalist scholar, that we have to evaluate it again because of their imperialistic view or their imperialistic conceptual framework to write down the history. So I hope guys you enjoyed the session. You have cleared all the concept of this particular colonial and Orientalist historiography. If you have any doubt, do comment. If you like the session, give the thumbs up, share with your friend, and do subscribe our YouTube channel so you will get the notification of upcoming video session on time. So thank you for your attention. Enjoy your learning. Have a nice day.